Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to the channel, come on, continue to come hang out on my channel and learn about real estate if you want to be a real estate agent, real estate investor. And then I also share, like, you know, my life, my kids, just how I balance everything, all that jazz. And you know, if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for coming back to my channel. I really appreciate it. Okay, so today's video is I'm going to share with you, when you're looking to buy rental property, some of the things that you really need to calculate. And if you own rental property, you know, you need to start estimating these things and getting your rental property on track so that it can be profitable or more profitable than it currently is. Okay, so I literally thought, let me do this video because I just went over it, because I found a property and I was like, oh, I think this would be a good investment. And I figured I would share it with you, you know, what type of numbers we run. So basically, the first things to include, of course, is the mortgage, okay? Unless you're gonna buy the property cash or something like that. But so we calculated that. The other thing is calculate taxes, of course, and calculate insurance on the property. So those are usually like your fixed costs that you're gonna definitely have, that you can then, you know, divide by 12 and know for a fact that you're gonna have to pay property taxes, insurance, mortgage, what else? Because we just literally just did this. Oh, right. And then, oh, so these are the three things then that we're more discussing between ourselves, how we want to estimate it. So it's property management, repairs costs, and vacancy. Okay, so these are three things that can kind of change, and it's going to be different how each investor may want to estimate these things, but you definitely need to estimate them. Like for vacancy, we both agreed to estimate for the property to be empty 2 months out of the year. So we're saying, okay, we will estimate that this property will be occupied for 10 months. And if the tenant, your vacancy rate is like, okay, maybe it's gonna take you that long to find a tenant, and things like that, because no property is just occupied. I mean, that would be great, but honestly, in my opinion, with doing rentals, you know, for a number of years now, no property is going to be occupied 100% of the time. So you might as well just estimate it so that you're not caught off guard. So we agreed, okay, let's estimate 2 months that, you know, it's unoccupied and we're not going to collect rent those 2 months, okay? And then the other one is property management. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times people go back and forth on if they need property management, and people ask me that all the time. You know, I'm gonna rent out my house. Do I need a property manager? My answer is always yes. Because one, I think it puts people in a better mind frame to handle their rental property as a business, as opposed to a lot of times when people start out and they're renting property, tough decisions that need to be made, they don't make it because they're not really managing the property fully like it's a business. They're managing it, you know, sometimes they're renting to a friend, a family member, which are things I always say do not, you know, rent to, like, you know, your sisters and brothers, and you know, it's not ideal. I have so many horror stories that I can tell you of people doing that. So that's what I'm saying. You get a property manager, and I just feel like you get more in a business mindset. Also, it does take time to manage a property. It's passive income, but it's not like you don't have to do absolutely, you know, nothing. That is not the situation when you have rental property. You do have work to do, you know, and that's so funny. It's like, you know, people are calling, we can go into why we have to also estimate repairs costs, because that's the thing, that takes time. if you're working your 9-to-5 job and then a tenant is calling you because the toilet is overflowing and those types of things, you need to be set up where they're calling your property manager, not you at work, you know, working a your 9-to-5 job, you know, disturbing you. I mean, things happen. I'm talking, and I will tell you, things always happen at the worst time. You know, the tenant is calling because it's some emergency on Christmas, you know what I mean? And you're trying to then, as a homeowner, trying to find a, you know, a plumber or whoever that will go there on Christmas and fix it. Like, those things are just better handled by a professional. They're going to have professional, like a property management company, they're going to have several already, you know, vetted contractors that they work with, as opposed to you, you know, going through Google just trying to find, you know, whatever plumber you find or who your, you know, a church friend recommends. So it just works out much better to always get property management. So we estimated property management to be 10% of the cost, because we both, you know, have other things going on. We're both moms. We're just both busy. We're like, we're not, you know, that running back and forth to properties. I mean, I'm telling you, I've learned my lesson with that. That will burn you out, and you'll get one rental property and say, forget it, this is enough for me, I don't want any more, because you'll get so burned out. So definitely estimate 10% for property management. And then the other thing we did were repairs. Now, this is something I can tell you, I have underestimated myself many a time, and it is the worst. It is the worst to underestimate repairs, and then you just get some crazy repairs. You just have to estimate repairs. Now, for us, just going in, what our strategy is, if we're going in initially, we want to renovate the property and have it in excellent condition before we rent it out, as opposed to sometimes people will just buy it subject to rent it out, and then as people complain, they're fixing and fixing and fixing. I find, one, that's another way that you get burned out, and really you don't save any money doing that, because I have done it. You don't save anything doing that. It's better if you renovate the property up front, and if you know that you're going to rent out the property, it doesn't need to be, excuse me, it doesn't need to be top of the line everything, because you know you're gonna rent it, and you don't need to put top of the line appliances and top of the line like countertops and things like that. You know, you can get very nice, you know, like, I don't know how can I explain it, but you know, tenant stuff. It doesn't have to be, because that's another thing. Don't go overboard with repairs and, you know, renovate the home that you're gonna rent out like it's your home and you're gonna live there, and you're like updating and putting in all the stuff that you want for your house. But just put in really nice things, but not over the top, the highest quality things. But that's what I would say. Get the property in good shape before you rent it. Like, so for us, we estimated for this particular unit, we estimated $20,000 to go in, because we already went in, walked through the house, and we know it needs new floors, new carpet, new appliances, new painting, renovate and fix up the bathrooms, the kitchen, things like that. So we we estimate, and it's a small townhome, so we estimated about $20,000 so that's what I'm saying. So I'm just sharing this with you so that as you also estimate renting out property in these things, you make sure that you also estimate these. Because what did I have? Mortgage, the taxes, insurance, we did property management, repairs, and vacancy. So those are the things that are really important. You don't want to forget them. That's my tip for today, and I will see you next video. Bye bye.